Mary's Little Goat, God over all things. A story of love lost through grief, yet a journey of hope restored through redemption. Sin Deity Caldwell Dunson presents Mary's Little Goat, God over all things.
Mary's Little Goat, G.O.A.T, God over all things. Finally, the book is completed. It took me, 15 years? Is it fair to say 20 years? I could go higher, but I won't. What inspired me was that cute little Mary's Little Lamb. Yes, although the book was adorable, I associate it with that book because my mom's name was Mary, and when she passed away, it felt like someone ripped my stomach out, and I cling to all things Mary. So I would escape the pain by writing, creating poems, creating songs, reading. And I remember being in middle school, Willowbrook in Compton, California, sitting in my English class thinking, I want to write a book. And then I said, well, what would you call the book? And then I said to myself, I'd name it Mary's Little Goat. And then I asked myself, well, what would the goat do? I didn't have an answer, so I didn't start or finish the book. It wasn't until my 11th grade year at Palisade High School, I started pondering again on this book and how excited I was to finally start writing the book. The title would remain the same, Mary's Little Goat. I asked myself again, well, what would the goat do? And then I thought, okay, well, the book I will talk about my journey, the life without my mom. And I would never complete the book. I definitely started, but I would not complete the book. And, being a teen mother, getting married, having more children, and starting my business, being a wife, just life gets in the way. And then you start blaming yourself. You give yourself this terrible word of a title, and you call yourself a procrastinator. And I must say, people, we've got to stop doing that. We've got to be easier on ourselves, because if I had completed Mary's Little Goat back then, I wouldn't be able to take advantage of that special phrase that didn't exist back then. And if you know me well, you know how much I love acronyms. And that would be G.O.A.T, greatest of all times. So when I completed my book, I thought, there goes that goat again. And I associated it with God over all things. So although I wanted to complete my book back then, it wasn't time. It's in God's timing, people. And I'm very happy that I did not complete it back then, because my journey is different. I have more to share, and it allowed me to think about, wow, I was a motherless daughter, and as harsh as that sound, I honestly didn't like using that phrase, motherless. It sounds so empty. And I said, let's call it what it is. And when I would sit and ponder on being a motherless daughter, I started thinking of where it all started and remind myself of how I got through those nights, those sad evenings when I just didn't want to eat or sleep. And even though I had a grandmother, great grandmothers, and godmothers that really tried to stand in the gap, when you long for your mother, I don't care who tries to assist. Well, for me, it's just empty. And I thought about other little girls, and I thought, wow, they didn't have a Mary's Little Goat, God Over All Times book when I was coming up. And how traumatizing was that for me? I was 6 years old, not understanding what was happening, but just waking up the next day realizing that beautiful lady that used to wipe the milk from the top of my lip when I would eat cereal is not there anymore. It was just a really, really empty feeling. And me, I'm always trying to think of, well, is someone else going through this? How are they getting by? And although I would see a lot of girls coming up with their moms going to malls and to the store, getting their hair and nails done, I thought, wow, that's so cool. I was never jealous. I just thought, wow, I would love to experience that. And what I would do to get my experience, I would dream. I would escape in my dreams, and I would dream of my mother. Mary's Little Goat, God Over All Things, is a real, everything in that book happened. And there are some little girls out there that have the support of their family, their dads, their grandmothers, their aunts. But I'll be honest, sometimes that's not enough. I mean, me growing up, I really, and I don't wish any bad on I didn't want to wish any bad on any of my friends back in high school. And I just wish that there was someone that I could share stories with that experienced what I was experiencing at that time, and we could support one another. But it wasn't. There was no one. And although I had siblings, my sisters, they were going through what I was going through. And let's face it, they had their own friends too. They wanted to hang out with their friends, and I'm sure they wanted someone to understand what they were going through. I mean, it was difficult. So what do? You suppress it. You hold it all in, and you cry, and then you try to escape, and you do things that you feel are going to fill that void, and it doesn't get filled. And then you realize the art of prayer. I thank God for my grandmother instilling a lot of Christian beliefs, and then my godmother taking it all the way. I mean, there's nowhere in this world that I would have been spiritually equipped without my grandmother and my godmother instilling the gift of God's word. And I'm hoping that Mary's Little Goat, God Over All Times, will inspire that little girl to know that I too experienced what they're experiencing, and it's gonna be okay. There's just a process that we must go through, and I'm hoping that Mary's Little Goat, God Over All Things, assists that little girl or the motherless goddess, my MLGs. There goes those acronyms again. There's a process that little girls will go through. And if I could have it my way, I would sit and talk to each and every little girl that mother has passed away and let them know that, hey, your mother left you a special gift. And they'll find that gift in the book, Mary's Little Goat, God Over All Things. They'll be able to relate to my message. And I am hoping that parents that purchase this book, I'm hoping that they will read it first before passing it on, because it is a story that it's a tearjerker, but it also makes you smile. It will give little girls hope. I promise you, it will make you feel like you can take on the world. And if you need to read the book over and over and over, then do it, because it will have you in a place where the sadness will not be a downward spiral, if you will. It will create a place for you to be you and to share. And I also, for the parents, if your child has lost their mother, or you know someone that has suffered a loss, I encourage you to find people, children that are experiencing the same thing. I'm telling you, people, that is the way to make this process a lot easier. It won't fix it because, again, it's a process. But we have to surround ourselves with people that are having the same experience. I promise you. I do believe that would have made my journey a little easier. And understand that losing a mother can cause a child to behave in a way that can seem a bit abrupt and how can I say, for lack of better words, rebellious, when in reality they're longing for nurturing that the process will give in time. It's not an immediate fix. So definitely consider those avenues when embracing and trying to comfort a motherless goddess, motherless girls. Okay? My main mission is to obviously have this book shared with everyone. If you are a woman or a man that can't relate to this book, but you know someone that can, share it. I promise you, everyone in this world has a mother. Everyone had a mother. Everyone has not had a child, but everyone has had a mother or have a mother. So it's important for us to realize that a mother, I don't mean to pat myself on the back, but we are definitely the world. And there's a lot of pain that comes with being a mother. And we must realize that through the pain, there is comfort. And this book should inspire someone. And if I only reach one young girl, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. However, I know this book will inspire so many girls. God knows I wish someone had a Mary's Little Goat, God Over All Times book when I was little. I'm not saying it would have fixed my sadness, but I believe it would have comforted me. I really believe that.